Thank you all for being here. You're heroes to people that you protect, and grateful to you. As my colleague said a while ago, also the thanks to not only your families, but all the families who, when they say goodbye in the morning, they know the danger that their loved ones encounter throughout the day. And so what an amazing testament of courage to our men and women in the policing service. I want to recognize in Oklahoma last year we had 3 officers lost in the line of duty. I just want to just pay honor to them and their families. Deputy Sheriff Jeremy McCain of Oklahoma County, Patrolman Joseph Barlow of McAllister, and Detention Officer Kenneth Fowler of Pontotoc County. I found it astounding this morning. Mr. Gerke, Mr. Barnes, you both alluded to fentanyl being the one of your priority issues, and which absolutely, as we know, is a result of lack of enforcement, lack of capture at our southern border, given the flow. And so in 2021, we know that 70,000 deaths occurred. It's the leading cause of death, fentanyl poisoning. Many times people thinking they're taking some other substance are taking fentanyl, and it leads to their demise. And that 70,000 would be as if a jetliner every day was crashing to get to that annual number. That's the leading cause of death, 18 to 45 in America today. In Oklahoma, in 2022, there were 326 Oklahomans who died from fentanyl. And just in the first 5 months of this year, there's already 300. So it's just a number that continues to grow. The deadly mixture of tranq that keeps Narcan from being able to revive someone. My question to anyone at the panel, what are you seeing with this? What's your experience, and what are your suggestions as it pertains to what the federal government can be doing with this dangerous mixture concoction of the fentanyl being laced with xylazine?
So I'm also the county coroner in Orange County, and we look at all that data. We've seen the presence of xylazine increase over the last 4 years to become much more dominant. So we know that that is a causal factor in the synergy created in with fentanyl. So it is an ongoing issue. The rise of the 70,000, in our analysis of the fentanyl addiction, the vast majority of those deaths are people not taking one pill, or people who are addicted to fentanyl, who are seeking out fentanyl as an addiction that is causing their demise. It's just, in my analysis, was 96% of those who died in my area as a result of fentanyl had an addiction or prior arrests for drug offenses that weren't first-time users. That does happen. The clandestine produced pills are obviously being sold as Xanax, OxyContin, oxycodone, and other things. They do have xylazine, sometimes mixed, but it's mostly the addicts. They're seeking out the pure fentanyl for an addictive high.
Sheriff Barnes, since I've got you on the mic already, I want to kind of pivot to something I found really interesting. You talked about the lawlessness that policies as a laboratory of experimentation that your state has been seeing. And you quoted some numbers that your prison population as of 2010 was 165,000, and that dropped to 90,000, almost in half. In a 10-year time period to date, you're about 90,000 prison population. But what you talked about in your opening remarks was that decriminalization element, where state law has been changed, it's led to a 31% increase of homicides in that same time period. A 31% increase in homicides, and the population only rose 10%. It's astounding. Also, in that 30 percentile range was aggravated assaults had grown 30%. You then talked about that those that are killed, officers that are killed in the line of duty, come from those with extensive criminal records. And you, a moment ago, told a member of this panel that it's not the gun, it's those that are getting the gun. And so we see in America today, the gun is looked at as the target for our focus, and yet I appreciate you talking about the human factor. Would you expound upon that?
Sure. So just to put that in perspective, I've issued 20,000 CCWs and none of those individuals have gone out and committed a homicide. So I think when you look at just guns being issued, it's the criminal element using guns in the commission of crimes, oftentimes when they should have been incarcerated for their previous crimes, that is driving the violence that we're seeing with this decarceration efforts.
So just to follow in the ending with this, Mr. Chairman, that if we would be more apt to go after the criminals and not bring about policy that decriminalizes them on lesser crimes, we could go to the heart of what leads to more aggressive, more violent behavior years later. It's ushered in by being lax on criminal behavior.